Hey, how are you doing? Let's wait a little bit to make the live bill up a little bit before we get started. Before we get started, because I don't understand how Jamaica is so quiet about this. And I think it's because people really and truly don't understand what take place right underneath them eyes, right underneath them nose. You understand? Let me turn on my camera. Let me turn on my camera. I like to keep the comments up on both places. Just in case it freeze. Cause I don't want to miss nothing. Live and let live. You see what go on? Wanna see what is going on? I don't think people understand it. And that's why I feel it is my civil duty to come here and to break it down for all of you. Hold on 1 second. I'm hearing a background noise. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that. Yes, hello. Hi, Don. Hi, how you doing? Hi, Gillette. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, graduates. Good morning. Morning, Dan Campbell. Boy, let me say, I wonder if people really and truly understand what's going on. Some used to think say Guyana was one of the most corrupt places me ever cover when it come to politics. One of the most corrupt. Hmm? Huh? I used to think that Guyana was the most corrupt when it came to politics, when it came to money, until until I buck up on this. It takes the whistleblowers to come out here and make it clear because I do not understand how Jamaica is so quiet. Jamaica is so silent when it comes to what is going on at the University of the West Indies Hospital. Hmm? Is it that we not understand? Let me tell you something. As a potential returning migrant, one of the things that we consider when we live in a big foreign, and we say we are come back at Jamaica, is how are we going to manage if we get ill, right? Is the healthcare up to par? Are we going to be able to get the same level of treatment that we're able to access in first world countries back home? It is a strong determinant factor. It's not just about the crime and the safety and all of that. Yes, that plays a role as well. But I'm talking about in terms of being able to live out the rest of your life and retire comfortably if you're not yet retired. And know that you're going to get health care. It is so, so, so significant in making up your mind as to whether or not you go back to Jamaica to live or back to the Caribbean to live. So late last night, I couldn't sleep. So I stick YouTube in my ears. And I started to listen to the PAC probe into the University of the West Indies Hospital fraud investigation that took place. When I tell you that I listened to something, my graduates that just convinced me say, no sir, Jamaica can done so. We really have this go on at the highest realm of society. The people who are supposed to be our leaders, we really have this go on and we not say nothing. And let me tell you something. If it was mix up and gossip with the pan it, like Matlock. But something like this that's happening beneath the noses of Jamaican people, everybody is quiet. Because we are so hell bent on creating a den of thieves. People who can get away with fraud and scamming and it not coming like nothing. We have become a nation of choppers. And this is why I am calling. This is why I'm calling Prime Minister Andrew Holness to class. I want him to come to the front of the class, right as with HTK and the graduates. Then I want you to come to the front of the class because you need to explain how something like this has been allowed to take place. how these people have been allowed to steal millions and millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars. And nothing has come of it. And this poor man sat here, has been put in the hot seat as the acting CEO, while the real criminal is nowhere to be found. This is the part that sweet me the most, you know. The real criminal is nowhere to be found, while the acting CEO has basically been placed in a position of jeopardy between a rock and a hard place, having to account for monies and contracts that he knoweth not about. So we're going to go through it, you know. Together, we're going to go through it. And we're going to listen to the whole thing. And we're going to talk about it. Yes, today's class is going to be a long one. But we've got no choice. This time we have to definitely listen to it bit by bit. Because when I tell you, say you're going to hear something, we're going to make your mouth drop a groan. You're going to hear some things that make you wonder, what the hell am I listening to? Just hold your horses. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio. Thumbs up if you can hear the audio.
CEO of the University Hospital of West Indies. Immediately behind me, we have the CMO, Dr. Jacqueline Besesa Mackenzie. We have Commander Paul
What about
Wright.
now? Can you hear it now?
As well, behind me, we have Miss Birch, Kalian Birch, immediately behind me.
All he's doing
But
is
if you want
introducing
the
his
others
team,
just
but
to
can you hear it
introduce
now?
themselves, that might
Yes,
be
we
easier.
will just ask the others just to
Yeah,
introduce
just to
themselves.
introduce themselves.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you very much, Chairman.
All right. Can I just press your mic?
Okay,
And
good. Thank
I
you.
will, and just introduce yourself and indicate the position you hold and the entity that you're from.
We haven't missed
Good
anything. This is
morning.
just
I'm Paulette
introduction.
Spencer-Smith, Executive Director, National Council on Drug Abuse.
Good morning. I'm Giovanni Price, Attorney at Law and Data Protection Officer at the
Good,
National
good,
Council on
good.
Drug Abuse.
Kimani Brightson, Senior Legal Officer, University Hospital of the West Indies.
Good morning. I'm Valasha Dover, Director of Financial Accounting, University Hospital.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Ainsworth Buckridge, Senior Director of Public Procurement, University Hospital of the West Indies.
Let's keep going.
Senior Director of Procurement. I want you guys to pay attention to that voice because we're going to hear a lot from him. The Senior Director of Procurement. Listen.
Release your mic. Once you've just press your mic, release it. So NCDA, yeah, just release your mic. Yeah, go ahead.
Morning, Michelle Davis, Director of Budget, Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Good morning, Angela Curtis Cox, Senior Director, Strategic Planning, Performance, Project Management at the University Hospital of the West Indies.
Morning, everyone.
It was on. Just bring it closer to you.
Morning, everyone. Maureen Golding, Chief Technical Director, Office of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Your big title, you
Good
know.
morning, everyone. I
Hey.
am Audit Clark, Program Manager for the Health System Strengthening Program.
You're turning it off. Just go ahead.
But I said to people don't know how to use mic.
Press it. Hold on. Press it again. Don't turn it off now. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brendalyn Bennett Tomlinson. I'm the Audit Supervisor of the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Release
Ministry
your
of
mic
Health.
once you're finished. Just turn it off.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Walker, Chief Internal Auditor for the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
These are the internal auditors.
Morning,
Very
everyone.
important
Andre
people
Wilson,
in this
Director of
story.
Program Development, Ministry of Health and Wellness.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have a big team from both the ministry and the university hospital. How I intend to proceed, as we normally do, I'll ask the Auditor General to provide her summary. Oh, sorry. So I'm going a little too fast. Minutes.
Yep.
Minutes of the
Word full of
last
titles,
meeting
beloved.
held on March 3rd, 2026. I assume the members have had an opportunity to look at the minutes, and please indicate if there are any corrections, omissions that you would.
I'm
you
still
have
here.
picked
I
up.
want you guys to focus and listen to this. Never in my life.
If no, could I have a motion for the confirmation of the minutes? Moved by Member Cousins, seconded by Member Miller. Oh, Member Cousins, you can't move it. I'll just switch it around since you weren't here at the last meeting. So the confirmation moved by Member Miller, seconded by Member Cousins. All right. In terms of how we proceed, I'll ask the Auditor General to provide her summary. I'm starting with the University Hospital, a summary of the audit. I'll then invite the team from either the ministry or the university to respond. And then members, the way I intend to proceed, I will take the questions and comments by each finding. So I'll do finding 1, and then we discuss that. Once we've exhausted that, we go to finding 2 until we get to finding 7. And then
7
after we have
findings, you know,
completed
people.
the University Hospital, we can go to the other 2 issues, the HSSP program and also the Ministry of Health in terms of the appropriation accounts. So, Madam Auditor General, I'll invite you to start.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to hand over to Deputy Auditor General Non-Assurance Christopher here, who will introduce the matter for the ministry, for the University Hospital. Thanks.
Thank you, Auditor General.
Just bring the mic closer to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Auditor General. Mr. Chairman, members of the Public Accounts Committee, good morning. This performance audit was undertaken in response to whistleblowers' concerns regarding the administration and management of certain operational activities at the University Hospital of the West Indies. The audit also represents the first in a series being conducted under the theme Ensuring Value for Money in Public Health Procurement. The audit examined the hospital's procurement activities as to whether they achieve value for money and comply with the Government of Jamaica's Public Procurement Act, its related regulations, and also the procurement guidelines where applicable. The audit focused on public health procurement for hospital infrastructure, an area of significant public interest, given UHII's role in the delivery of healthcare services and the substantial public resources allocated to this function. We identified systemic weaknesses in the hospital's strategic management and procurement governance. In particular, the misuse of UHII's tax-exempt status resulted in estimated revenue losses of $23.1 million.
Jesus.
Secondly,
Wait. Now, I know a lot of Jamaicans do not understand the terminologies that are being thrown around in this meeting. And this is why a lot of this information goes over our people's head. Now, first of all, the question might be asked, what is procurement? The ordinary man in the street now gonna know one name. So when we're talking about procurement, we are talking about the end-to-end sourcing of goods, services, works from external parties that are necessary for the running of the hospital. So, for example, if the hospital need bandages, the hospital will source the bandages from a company, a third-party company, and they will be imported into the country if it's coming from outside. If it's they need a building to be fixed up, refurbished, then they may contract builders to come and do the work. These things are all falling under the title of procurement. It's when you seek these goods or services that will enable the hospital to run well. So, in order for the University of the West Indies Hospital to have these services come into the hospital for the benefit of the Jamaican people, the patients, etc., they have got to engage in contracts, because on a word of mouth to do the thing. Things have to be written up to say, okay, we agree that you are going to be the source of this. We will be spending this amount with you for this amount of period, and we expect this amount of goods or this amount of service. So me know say a whole heap of people don't understand what procurement mean. This is what procurement mean. Okay? Now, what the auditor is saying is that when they went and did the audit, it was because of a whistleblower. Now, a whistleblower. Who's a whistleblower? A whistleblower is somebody who basically informed without their company knowing. So we had no idea that this person was going to make a report and expose that things were not going right within Uwhi. It was because of this whistleblower that we learned that there was a fraud investigation team going into Uwhi from January 2026. This is the result of it, people. So, this whistleblower, and I genuinely believe that this whistleblower actually came from the internal audit team. That's my opinion. Me feel so. That this whistleblower came from the internal audit team. That is what me feel. We don't know, the whistleblower remains anonymous. So because the whistleblower contacted the fraud alert, made the fraud alert, the fraud investigation kicked off, and they now have these findings that shows that the procurement is one of the biggest problems. God bless whistleblowers. So the procurement revealed that the University of the West Indies Hospital, who operates under a charity, used its tax-free exemption in a fraudulent way. In other words, there were things being brought into the country from other businesses that probably never have nothing to do with the University of the West Indies Hospital. And because they used the tax-free exemption of the University of the West Indies Hospital to enter into the goods into the country, they were able to do so without paying the right amount of customs duty and tax. That resulted in $26 million worth of loss. But it not done this, so people. It not done this, so. Hey, it don't done there, so at all. Let we keep listening.
Practice of after-the-fact procurement, where the required procurement processes
Hi,
were
Vanessa.
completed after goods and services were obtained, which is contrary to the law. Thirdly, the non-preparation of key strategic and accountability documents, which weakens oversight and procurement planning. And fourthly, the non-submission of standard procurement documentation for audit review, which limit assurance that due process was followed. The audit concluded that these weaknesses expose the hospital to heightened risk of inefficiency, waste, and non-compliance,
That is it,
and
live and let
undermine
live.
confidence in the integrity of its procurement operations. Management has indicated that corrective actions are being pursued to correct the deficiencies identified. The findings extend beyond isolated procedural lapses and instead point to long-standing governance and control deficiencies within UHWI's procurement environment. Mr. Chairman, I thank you and the members for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Green, I don't know if you're going to take it or Mr. Hosing, but...
Thank you very much, Chairman. Mr. Hosing will take it. As you know, the UHWI is managed by a board of directors. They manage their affairs.
Just bring the mic closer so Hansard can
Now, listen to this madness. Listen to this.
Is the acting CEO of the UHWI. He is prepared to answer all the questions. Mr. Hosing, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair. I have been acting in this position from January the 12th of this year. And just to say, Mr. Chair, we accept and acknowledge the findings of the Auditor General. The matters reported on in the Auditor General's report are a culmination of systemic weaknesses that have persisted for decades within the organization. This is proven by even a report which was done in 2007, which highlighted similar weaknesses. Internally, we are therefore working to identify structural gaps while strengthening the hospital's accountability framework. Since the publication of the report, we have located 30 of the 29 of the 51 procurement files that we were unable to produce during the conduct of the initial audit exercise by the Auditor General. 28 of these files have already been presented to the Auditor General's Department for their audit and review. A standard operating procedure for public procurement is now being finalized for approval. Most, if not all of the cases highlighted by the Auditor General occurred as a result of breach of GOJ procurement guidelines and a lack of standard operating procedures combined with weak internal controls. The management of the UHWI is cooperating fully with the committees that were commissioned by the Ministry of Health and the UHWI Board of Management. These committees will present findings that will assist management to improve our internal process. The mandate of the UHWI Commission Committee, led by Ambassador Catherine Phipps, is to specifically highlight the operational gaps in the organization and report on the instances where the actions of our employees would have resulted in breach of the established GOJ procurement guidelines and regulations. We believe these findings, in particular, will assist management to make determinations as it relates to liability and culpability. We have now completed a series of training in GOJ public procurement guidelines for all members of the public procurement unit, all members of the procurement and evaluation committees, all senior directors and managers.
Now, when I listen to this, I said to myself, this a man here, bless him soul. He only came into role in January 2026. He said something like the 12th of January. So before him was an entire team of people. An entire team of people. So just a reminder of who this team of people were. We had, I post them on my page. You had all of these people who were the members of the board. So you had the chief executive officer, that's Mr. Fitzgerald Mitchell. That are the puss with the butter in my mouth, Mr. Fitzgerald Mitchell, the chief executive officer, was the one who was there before this poor man here that you see in the hot seat. We have to be doing all kind of tidy up. You had the senior director, so that's Major Wayne Robinson. Then you had Donna Harry Lal, that is information and communications technology. You have Dr. Carl Bruce, Dwayne Nelson, Dwight McLeish, that's the chief audit executive is Dwight McLeish, right? All of these people now, here's the finance and general accounting, Mr. Widinalej Jihan Demel. Look like one Cuban, I don't know. But the Demel there was Spanish name. Me tell you, it's a whole den of thief. See them here. A whole den of thieves. A whole den of thieves. A whole den of thieves. All of them. But you see this one in Imika, yeah? You see him? Him are the biggest thief. This one right here, because of him. He was the one that was presiding over all of this mess. And suddenly, him not about. Suddenly we have acting CEO. While this puss with the whole of the butter in her mouth, nowhere to be seen. Well, now that's not a bad thing. Because essentially, he should not be left to continue if there is a suspicion of fraud. Them have to suspend him. Them have to take him off. You understand? But when I listen to him talking about that he's training his staff and all of that kind of something there, people wanna tell me. The staff may have been forced to turn a blind eye because them not have no choice. But can the staff, the little tiki staff, them can bring in goods that amount to $26 million worth of tax? Is that the staff? Or is that beyond the staff? Not the management that. Not the board that. Not the people them where the big wig them and the pen pushers them that. So how is he telling us about training all of the little junior members of staff them? Where if them not tick off something, they lose their little work. Make that make sense? Make we listen.
We will continue to provide training for our internal stakeholders to keep our staff up to date and current with GOJ guidelines on procurement. The matters concerning the misuse of the tax exemption status have been reported to both the police, MOCA, and fraud unit, and to Jamaica Customs Agency. We are cooperating fully with both entities and remain in open dialogue with their representatives in order to recover the revenue lost to the government of Jamaica. MOCA has requested statements from certain employees, and we are expecting their submission.
Exactly, Mr. Brown. Train thief, train them from thief.
Investigations, and we are awaiting the remaining results. In addition to these external agencies, the Integrity Commission is currently investigating some specific cases that were reported by the Auditor General. The team members from the Integrity Commission, which visited the UHWI, have officially sequestered the files related to the misuse of our tax exemption status, as well as the procurement files from civil work that were flagged by the AGD. We are currently awaiting those findings from the Integrity Commission. The contravening practice of initiating procurement processes after the delivery of goods or services have been discontinued. We have also discontinued the use of arrangements with private entities to bypass procurement guidelines and have discontinued the misuse of our tax exemption status by private entities. Through the development of robust standard operating procedure, improved accountability framework, and a change of culture through human resource development and training, we intend to eliminate the factors that could give rise to the issues reported by the AGD in the first place.
Yes, you notice when these people rob from the people of Jamaica, we don't hear about arrests. You notice how we don't hear about arrests and we don't hear about people getting charged. All we're hearing about is training. All we're hearing about is, oh, we are moving people around. We not shift around the same people and where was involved in the corruption. But we're not hearing about accountability. We're hearing about changes, and changes are good. Changes are good, Jamaica. Changes and no consequence. Somebody are going to find another way for chop, no. That me hear. And the more you listen to this, it is so ridiculous when you hear the things that were allowed to go on. the more you have to question Prime Minister Andrew Holness. You never know, say. As so, your organization them a run. Because remember, Uwhi Hospital has certain dynamics in that it is a student hospital. So part of the funding comes from the University of the West Indies Hospital itself. Not itself, the University of the West Indies itself. Because students go there. But the majority of the funding comes from the government. Right? And I'm talking about billions of dollars of taxpayers' money. I don't know, a little thing. So when them say to you, and if you listen at the start, when that the big brother there with the black jacket, when you listen at the start, he said the University of the West Indies Hospital has their own board, so I'm going to hand over to the CEO. That means say, and them run them own show. Them run them own show. And you're going to hear how the governance of the Uwhi Hospital work. Why they were allowed to do this for decades. A long time. Them I get away with it. You hear? I don't know now something.
Through proper procurement planning and conformity to the
1 second, Mr. Hosting. I'm told they're not capturing you fully. If you want to hold the mic in your hand or bring it closer to you so that they can hear. Just bring it closer.
Everybody nervous. Okay. Everybody a mumble.
Might have to hold it.
No, that's better. That's better.
That's better.
Man, I sweat, you know. Man, further shine.
The GOJ guidelines on procurement, these issues will be alleviated completely. The audit for 2019 to 2020 is scheduled to recommence in April of this year. The audits for 2020 to 2025 were tendered and an audit firm was selected. Mr. Demel, a former partner at KPMG, was hired in January, the same time I was, to head our finance division, and one of his key deliverables is the completion of the audit.
Morning, Jeanette.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hosing. So, members, we're going to go by each finding, but before we get to the findings, and this is directed to the ministry, could you explain the governance structure related to the hospital? We know there may be a parallel governance with both the Ministry of Health and the university itself. We know the university hospital is unique in that it's a training institution.
Yes.
So could we start there by understanding where the Ministry of Health's oversight starts and stops with this particular institution?
Well, the University Hospital of the West Indies is governed by a board that is made up of representatives appointed by the minister or recommended for appointment by the minister, but majority of the members of the board are made up from the University of the West Indies itself. They manage their own affairs. It's a department of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Where we have oversight responsibility is to ensure that all the governance procedures are followed.
Morning, Camilla.
So is there, in addition to the board members, is there any direct reporting from the hospital to the university as other departments or agencies under the ministry would do, whether it be on a monthly or quarterly basis?
Not that I'm aware. They manage their own affairs, and our job is to ensure that they do what they're supposed to do in accordance with government guidelines.
The reason I'm probing on this issue, the issues that have been identified are systemic. I think Mr. Hosing saying going back decades.
Yes,
so
decades.
My question would be if you're to provide oversight and those issues were raised or brought to the attention of the ministry,
it's your friend.
Why are we where we are? And were those issues?
Nadine, when I looked at the man, I felt so bad for him. Because after them, this post, after this post here, so this Fitzgerald brother here, do all of his mess. After this post, do all of his mess. And then go away and leave this man to go and clean up after himself. This Fitzgerald Mitchell. Yes? And now I'm just hearing that the head of finance, the finance and general accounting was also changed. So this a Cuban brother here. This brother here from some different country that was definitely a part of it. You see him face? See the next this our rat. The next one was a puss. This one is a rat. This one gone. So it's two new people drop bam in this fraud. Two new people drop in the fraud.
Brought to the attention of the ministry? And is there a structure that facilitates those issues coming to the attention of the ministry?
Yes, there's a structure. And when we were aware of the Auditor General's review of the processes of the University Hospital of the West Indies, we immediately involved ourselves in the exit interview with the UHW and the Auditor General. And we've had several discussions since that time to ensure that all the actions that have been found in breach are corrected where they can, and to put things in place to ensure that there's no recurrence on this.
All right. I know the individuals here are new to the positions, but for example, something that I would want to know, on the issue of procurement, what is the board's oversight in relation to procurement? Is it that procurement over a particular number has to be approved by the board, or can the CEO and the executive team go ahead and do that? That's important given the level of breaches that we have seen here. So, I would obviously want to know where the board's responsibility, this is the university's board now, would step in a scenario like this.
Okay, so the CEO can approve up to 3 million without it going to the procurement committee for review. And
that is a procurement committee of the board, or is that the universities?
The university, as required by the government. And then from there,
up to 3 million.
After a certain amount, it goes to the public procurement committee, which is the oversight body that deals with a large amount. And also there is an amount, I think 50 million, that it has to go to the cabinet.
Sorry, Chairman. Mr. Hussein is new.
I know.
Because that's not true.
Is because he would be
I need a pen. Hold on, people.
The ceilings are. Under a certain amount, the CEO and the team can make that decision. I'm not so sure what the threshold is for it to go to the board, but I would assume that figure is set by the board. And of course, anything over $100 million would have to go to PPC and then on to cabinet.
So at this stage, you wouldn't have the historic data to know whether the board established a particular, as part of its internal control, a particular figure, let's say anything over 20 million would require, and I'm just using a figure, would require board approval, versus the CEO being allowed to proceed with procurement of that number.
I'm not aware of the ceiling, but I could find that out.
That's important to know, just to understand, because we're going to get to the specific issues, but it's very clear that there is an absence of...
I'm going to explain something to you, okay? I'm going to explain something to you. So this here is the procurement documents, right? I want you to look at the thresholds that were allowed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness that were permitted in 2025. Changes that were made to how much the thresholds of the contracts, how much they were worth before they needed to go to get checked by the procurement departments before they had to go outside of the hospital. I'm going to show you. Because when we show you this, you're going to say they were allowed to do whatever they wanted to do. Whatever they wanted to do, they were allowed to do with Jamaican people, taxpayers' money. You understand? Okay. So, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. See there? So this is the new procurement contract approval limits. So it says here, Tier 1, limit approval by head of entity. So Tier 1, whatever amount Tier 1 was. Tier 1 means that if it's this amount of money or less, then the CEO can give a thumbs up, right? The finance and accounting manager can give a thumbs up. That is the head of the entity. A value not exceeding, listen, $60 million. $60 million. Jamaican people, if the contract was worth 59 million, 0.99999 is a thumbs up by the people at the hospital itself. Them not have to go nowhere. $60 million. All right? Tier 2, because a fool will not take Jamaican people for. Tier 2, the limit, approval by the commission and the head of the entity. So now you need the procurement commission, the head of the hospital to come together. A value exceeding $60 million but not exceeding $100 million. So between 60 and 100 now. You have to have this collaborative perusal of the contract and and the thumbs up have to be given in unity. Tier 3 limits approval by the cabinet, the commission, and the head of entity. So this time it have to come to cabinet. And then you have to have the procurement commission. Then you have to have the head of the entity. Everybody have to come together to give the thumbs up. Once it's exceeding $100 million. So up to 60 million. I will heap of money that, The hospital can do whatever they want to do with that. Give the yes or the no. Right? Okay. Hold on. So now, according to this is when all of this was approved. Cabinet Secretary, Permanent Secretaries, Head of Departments, Chairman of Boards, Chief Executive Officers, and other heads of procuring entities are hereby advised that effective Monday, the 7th of July, 2025, the Public Procurement Regulations 2018 has been amended by the Public Procurement Amendment Regulations 2025, the Amendment Regulations. Among other things, the Amendment Regulations align the Public Procurement Regulations with the primary legislation as amended by the Public Procurement Amendment Act 2025, which came into effect on March 27, 2025. Similarly, it creates alignment with the provision outlined in the Public Procurement Competition Threshold Order 2025, which came into effect on May 16, 2025. And that, but Nadine, Andrew allow this. Andrew, give the thumbs up. The amended regulations further outline, inter alia, increases to the contract approval limits. So that's the increase. The procedure for making adjustments to the amount of an advance payment or the making of an advance payment in the excess of 50% of a contract price. So if them need an advance, in other words, you have to pay me 50% upfront before me give these goods, and you give me 50% when it deliver. You understand? Them thing there, the procedure was also changed for that. Changes to the time at which a bidder's eligibility is to be determined. Clarification regarding the requirement of proof of tax compliance or proof of there being no obligation to pay taxes in Jamaica where the estimated value of the contract is less than the relevant competition threshold for a single source procurement, and a clear requirement for negotiation in all single source procurements unless such negotiations are not feasible and the procuring entity is satisfied with the objective of the value of the money will be achieved. So basically it's giving you all of the different changes, but the ultimate thing is the fact that they can take contracts less than 60 million without anybody from the government having to oversee what the University of the West Indies Hospital are do. So that same thief, that same puss with the butter in her mouth will run away and leave this poor man for face for facing problems in woes. That same thief here. That same post here. See the post? See him there? That same post. Fitzgerald Mitchell was allowed to give the thumbs up and to say yes, as long as it was less than 60 million. And the government had no knowledge of what they were doing. And Andrew allowed this to take place. Sir Holness, explain to me why. Because I am looking at this and I am seeing money just a leak. Now we are here, say contracts being delivered, contracts being issued out, and the goods that are coming in not even related to the hospital. Yet people are allowed to import things without paying taxes by using the tax exemption status of the hospital when they ought to have been paying taxes. You know what that means? That means that the goods were not for the hospital. Because if the goods were for the hospital people, then of course they're exempt from tax. But the goods were not. Me that really like to know is which goods. Me that really like to know what come in and for what and for who. I wonder if you realize there's a big shame and disgrace this. But yet you notice how the press quiet about it. I must see 2 articles them run pan it enough. Them run one article say fraud investigation going on, and then run another article saying, the companies that have been taking advantage of the tax-free exemption have been named. As though that is the only big shame and bangarang. This is a bigger shame because a whole heap more are gone. Whole heap more things are gone. I could go and listen.
Governance and accountability that runs throughout the entire report. And so we need to understand, and I raise it because I do appreciate the university as an institution appoints board members, but the ministry also does. And while board members can flag and raise issues, there has to be
Pearl Campbell.
some
I see you.
institutional mechanism for reporting from the hospital to the ministry on a periodic basis, so that those issues don't only arise because the Auditor General went in and did an audit.
Exactly.
It means that we have years and years of breaches that would have gone undetected without an audit, and that just points to a total absence of proper governance and oversight. But there are a number of members who have raised, Member Brown first, then Member Miller, then Member Cuthbert.
Thank you very much.
And remember, we're just dealing with this issue first.
Yes. And I'm glad you started there, Chairman, because I had some questions around just the general oversight, Sir PS as well. I am referencing your letter, which you read from earlier, as it relates to the findings of the Auditor General and her team. And you reiterated in your
Alicia, they have to talk about that, because that means, you remember, thief, no like for thief with long bag, Alicia. So when the Minister of Finance talking about people splitting up packages to avoid the custom fee, because them brethren, I get where with tax, would not paying tax, so them can't afford for every Jack Mandora to actually do it. Because if the ordinary man start do what them doing, then customs now gonna make no money. Right? So that's one of them brethren pocket them a short this so. Them can short, and they can exploit the Jamaican tax people's money. But we can't do it. No.
opening remarks that, there would be an increased effort to provide oversight from the ministry. I want to associate myself with the comments from the chairman because it is good and well that now that the findings have come to the fore, that the restorative, the corrective, the remedial actions and processes, reporting all the findings to the police, reporting it to the customs, putting in place procurement plans and all the like now. But we are seeing
Lord Jesus, them long-winded.
years of flagrant procurement breaches. So I want to join the chairman to understand what is the institutional framework that the ministry has in place, not to put in place now, and that is good and well, but what is the institutional framework that the ministry has in place to give oversight, not just to the University of the West Indies, Hospital of the West Indies, but also to other agencies that come under your oversight remit, so that these breaches are not picked up when somebody whistle blows, but that
Sir,
there is a systematic, ongoing, consistent oversight function and overview of the ministry in that. So I want you to tell me what is the framework. Do you, for example, as PS, have any meetings with your head of the various agencies, your chairman of boards? Probably that's the minister's responsibility. But the different heads of entities on a monthly, quarterly, do you get reports from the different entities to yourselves or to your different officers? What is the framework? Because it is good and well, but when we look at all of the breaches, all of the findings that are here, it doesn't paint a good picture in terms of the ministry's oversight, even before we start to look at the University Hospital of the West Indies and deep dive into the
now wanna
issues
hear
of
this
work
apart,
finding.
yeah. You might
What
ask,
exists now, and what could have caused something as egregious as all of these measures that we're about to discuss to have happened?
hear this.
Thank you very much for that question, member. As I said before, the University Hospital of the West Indies
Hear it.
manages their own affairs. No report, with the deepest of respect, that
Huh.
would come to the ministry would highlight the issues that were raised by the Auditor General. They do have an audit department that is supposed to conduct audits from time to time. Those reports of the internal audit department of the University
Yes.
Hospital should come to the permanent secretary when
Uh-huh.
those reports are done. We do get the usual reports. They are supposed to provide a procurement plan. We are supposed to receive their operations plan and other matters related to a service level agreement that we're trying to put in place with all the agencies, the regions, the UWI and the Bellevue Hospital. All of that will be outlined in a service level agreement, which we are working to conclude.
Well, I must say, having heard that,
Wanna hear what the man just said a while ago? I wonder if you understand what he's trying to say. So he asked, what kind of reports have you been getting? So himself, scratch Uwhi. We're talking about all entities that fall under the Ministry of Health and Wellbeing. All of the entities, all of them, Uwhi Hospital, Bellevue, whichever. Right? Do you receive monthly, quarterly reports that's telling you what's going on? The man say, well, we are supposed to listen to the language, in that saying, yes, with definitive chest, The man said, we are supposed to receive. We are supposed to receive. We are supposed to, and then him end it with. All of these are being worked into a service level agreement, which we are in the process of bringing to fruition. He must say that the service level agreement not even concluded. It not even sign, seal, and deliver. The something is still being worked on. Now, what kind of worthless business arrangement this? Me as a businesswoman, I enter into no contract without signed service level agreements where all the terms and conditions are outlined and agreed with parties involved. You understand? All of the monies that's supposed to exchange hands, it did it to a T in the service level agreements. What is expected of them and what I will deliver. So how is it that our government is in the process? The minister, no, sir. I never see anything so what this kind of ban. I never see it yet. They are in the process of developing a service level agreement. When I tell you, so these are the things that go over the ordinary Jamaican's head. They're not going to understand it. It don't make no sense to them. And everybody are hustle. And then I know, so when it comes to these tiers of handling people's money, a serious business, and everything, the dots, the I's have to be dotted and the T's have to be crossed. So him basically I say, him no know what go on. Are you way? Him not have a clue. Because based on how he is answering, we can assume that the reports them hear him, scare him, and basic. If him get any at the appointed time, and I bet you there are delays, and I bet you there are missed reports. You see, I sit down there with him big belly, like say all him do I eat and drink off taxpayer money. And him a Ministry of Health and Wellness, and he never look like he walk. Look here.
There has to
And
be a
nobody
review
share
of
me
the
now.
governance
But you're supposed to
arrangements. Now, I
represent
know
what you're
the
about.
hospital is funded
A
both
joke.
by the University of the West Indies, but I think the majority of the funding comes from the government of Jamaica, right, through the Ministry of Health. So if the current arrangement is that you get no reports from the university hospital, that is a deep flaw, given the amount, and I do remember somebody that have to look in the big yellow book to look at the allocation that is made to the university, but it's a significant, we're not talking about tens of millions, we're talking about billions, particularly I know on the capital side now with the works that are being done.
Our acting
there has
CEO
to be
looks
a
stressed
review of
out.
those governance arrangements because in essence you are sitting duck. You are being asked to hold an entity accountable for which you in essence don't get reports.
Yes.
I'm not saying we shouldn't, you know. I'm
Yeah, they.
here for a year and
I understand, but
none have come to me since my
no,
time.
I understand, PS,
Uh-huh.
but I'm saying if there was a mechanism
wait,
where
hold on.
reports were
Almighty Father, no, on a year. It's been a whole year and odd since he's been in position. And here bigger say, since his time in the position, he has never. I can't laugh. I just funny. Since my time, I have never seen a report to Kakarasa. 1 year and you sit down in a post and chop the people them money for your salary, and you have received not one report from an entity. Out of him own amount, you know, people. Only you what big I say. Over. No. As I tell you, you see these highfalutin people that are in positions of power. A fool them take Jamaican people for. A idiot them take we for. Because we busy at do bangarang and mix up. And them busy at dance with we money. All of the
these
taxpayer money.
issues would have hopefully been highlighted, resolved, and we wouldn't have to wait on whistleblowers who go ask the Auditor General to go and do an audit. So something is wrong with the governance arrangements. It can't be that taxpayers are funding the hospital to the degree of billions of dollars and there is no direct reporting between the hospital and the ministry. It can't be. And the minister appoints board members, yes, but board members alone, yes, they exercise oversight, but there has to be monthly
Communication.
reports to the ministry.
Yes.
So you can know what is happening.
Exactly.
We're spending billions of dollars with zero oversight.
How would
And
you
people
write
can just
this?
go, I mean, this sounds like a runaway train where somebody just on a frolic of their own can spend taxpayers' money.
What's
like
your face? What
it's
you
the
call
Wild
it?
West.
Them?
It can't be so. So I know the minister set up some
Who's that direct?
committee to
Oh God.
look at the governance. This has to be part of the terms of reference going forward.
Only one person be sorry for the acting CEO. Me not lie. The rest of them sit down there, they look like the whole of them look like them in panic. The whole of them look like they in panic. Him alone look like him just stressed out. Because of what this him go take up. You understand?
Now I know you is unique, but let me ask you this: what arrangement exists, for example, in the other hospitals like KPH, Spanish Town, where the government has full and total responsibility from a governance perspective?
There's a board of directors that manages the affairs of those institutions. Each hospital would have a hospital management committee, which would report into the board, the regional board. And we do get the minutes of the board meetings on a monthly basis. A copy a set goes to the minister, a set comes to the permanent secretary. And whenever audits are done within those, within the regions and those institutions, a copy of the audit report would be sent to the permanent secretary.
So the main difference between you and the other hospitals is that they fall under the regional health authority structure, but UWI would not because it is funded
has
by
a board. It has a board that comprises membership of the University of West Indies itself. I believe they have the majority. And then
could you tell me, in terms of the composition, how many are appointed by the university versus how many are appointed by the ministry?
So the university staff, them are some chopper.
Ministry that appoints the chair, or is it the university that appoints the chair?
The minister appoints the chair.
Okay. But do you know because the composition is important in terms of the sway of the balance
authority
of power between the university and the ministry?
Yes. What's the percentage?
I believe, and I stand to be corrected, Mr. Lynch.
You don't know.
There are 10 members from the University of the West Indies. I think 7 or 8 by the minister. 8 by the minister.
Okay, so the majority from the university and not the ministry. And could I ask you, in terms of I know you may not know the exact figures, but the funding that comes to the hospital, what is the breakdown between what the university provides versus what the government of Jamaica provides?
The government provides 68% of the budget.
68% of the budget. So the board membership should reflect that.
Exactly.
And not
Jesus. No. So wait. Let's really break this down a minute. What he's actually saying. 68% of the funding, that's more than half, right? Comes from the government, meaning taxpayers' money. But yet the board, the number of bodies on seats, the bottoms on chairs, the majority are from the university hospital. 10 and 7 or 8 come from the government, but yet the 7 or 8 is contributing the majority of the funding, representing the country. Wanna see upside down story? Wanna see back and front? Wanna see foolishness? That makes sense? If me I put the majority of my money in a one business, the majority of the seats are supposed to be held by my people. While your little bit of money is supposed to be reflected in your little bit of seats. I mean things are with people bright. Me feel away. Yes.
Have the university have the majority of the boards. That has to be a part of the review of the governance
Very
arrangements
distressing.
going forward. And even the university itself is also heavily funded by the government of Jamaica too.
Yeah.
So, even if you extrapolate it, it may be more than the 68%.
Exactly.
The government's total
Exactly.
contribution. Sorry, AG, you want to...
Because there is an overlap in the budget, people. Think about it. Remember, the University of the West Indies contributes to the hospital, and the government also contributes to the University of the West Indies. So there's the money that the University of the West Indies would have received via the Ministry of Education, and then there is the money that the University of the West Indies Hospital would receive via the Ministry of Health and Well-being. So it's 2 sets of money going into Uwhi, right? So you got the university hospital funding from taxpayers' money, the Ministry of Education funding for the students that are going to the hospital to get trained from taxpayers' money. So I'm more than 60%. And yet the government bodies are the least in the the less of the two numbers. Make it make sense. No, sir.
Just intervene on a matter. Sorry.
Want to concur with PS Green regarding the
She's so low when she
that is
talk.
required. The Public Bodies Management and Accountability Act requires that there must be monthly, quarterly, and annual reporting to the ministry by
Yes.
the university, by the public body. But I want to say to you, Mr. Chairman, that that alone is not sufficient.
Yes. Because I will eat more today.
I would posit that the findings of this report would not have made its way to those reports based on the framework that is provided for those reports in the schedule to the Public Bodies Management and Accountability.
Nadine him never ready.
I think this requires something far more.
Yes.
It requires the ministry engaged two consultants in the past to do a strategic review, to do transformational review, to do operational and turnaround review. We didn't see anything happening with those. This is hitting really at the heart of the.
Are you hearing that? Wait. Oh, Jesus. So, the University of the West Indies Hospital hired two consultants in the past. These two consultants were supposed to do a turnaround review, a strategic review, an operations management review. All of those review. In other words, something to make them operate at full functionality, yes, and lose less money. They saw nothing from that. Let me tell you something as a consultant myself. We're money a little bit. And I don't work for government. So these consultants are going to be digging out them yai for that amount of work. And they saw nothing of it. Hey. Hey.
And Section 6 of the Public Bodies Management and Accountability Act actually places the responsibility on the board to create a control environment to ensure that the necessary systems are in place to protect the resources of the government by and large. So it's my view that the hospital will have to do a serious look, not also on its hiring practices, because the control environment starts there. Who is put in a particular position, ensure that you have the best fit for the position, and that ethical conduct is at the heart of the operations of the environment. It's obvious.
I like our glasses. They're nice.
Well, let me not say it's obvious. It's just my view based on the pervasiveness of the issues reported here. We just identified a small fraction. We have all the reasons to believe that this had been happening a long time ago, so much so that I believe that.
Yes, this is only a small fraction of the fraud. And to be frank, they did previously state that there were going to be subsequent audits, that they've hired a company to come in to do an audit. So they gave the time frame, I think it was something like 2007, 2017, and then from 2018 to 2025 or something like so. But basically, they have hired other auditors who are going to come in and go through it. They're going back decades, right? To see what's been going on. So, and on a simple matter, this foolishness what we are listening about now is only the icing on the cake. The straw that broke the camel's back, where the whistleblower said no more. We'll eat the okay.
The members of the university hospital may have become desensitized on this and probably not even recognize that what was happening was not right.
Yep.
Because some may have inherited, continued it. So a culture change, I think, is also
She has
required.
to live and let live. She has
the
to.
annual, the quarterly, and the reporting, that alone will not,
Would not have captured,
address these issues and would not have captured these issues.
The extent, okay. All right, Member Brown had a follow-up, then Member Cuthbert Flynn.
Yeah, I'm grateful for.
Yeah, me can't bother with them
Some of the
members here.
issues
I
that
want to
came
go
out of
into the
report,
issues.
were those captured by your department, and were those things that were sent and reported to the board?
Yes, Chair. They were captured by the department and reported to the board, but the
Listen
board
to
did not
this.
take
No,
any
this is
action.
important. Hold on. I'm going to back this up.
So the audit report.
Wait. This
There
guy
has been some challenges in terms of
is very important.
actions that should have been taken that they were taken.
Well, I was going to ask, where's the chief internal, where is he or she?
Yeah,
All
he's here.
He's here. If you could indicate for me how you operate, no, leave on your mic, turn it back on, how you operate, who you report to. I don't know how long you've been in the position, but it would be helpful for us to understand the size of your unit. Is it adequately staffed? The issues that came out of this report, were these issues flagged before, brought to the attention of the relevant, whether board, CEO, etc.?
So this is this guy.
So the framework of the internal audit department has
That's
the
him.
structure has, I think, 7 or 8 members. It's headed by a CAE.
Even the one post our
internal
rats.
audit
Don't say what a
managers,
CA is, not everybody
Listen.
knows.
chief audit executive.
You are the head of the department, right?
Correct, Chairman. 2 audit managers.
How long have you been in the position?
2019, Chair.
Okay.
Long time.
2 audit managers, 2
In
senior
that.
auditors, 2 auditors. And that's the structure. Currently, Chair, 2 posts is not filled at the moment, which are the 2 managers. Those are not filled. So the audit reports, the department reports to a subcommittee of the board called the audit committee. And that is chaired by a member of the board.
And can I ask, you've been there 6 years now, going 7. Some of the issues that came out of the report, were those captured by your department, and were those things that were sent
Listen
and
to this.
reported to
This
the
part.
board?
Yes, Chair. They were captured by the department and reported to the board, but the board did not take any action.
Mercy God.
Well, Member Cuthbert Flynn been waiting a long time.
And you have asked all of the questions mainly.
On a here? Did you guys hear that? So I need you to understand the difference. There is the external auditor. The external auditor comes in usually when a situation is flagged as a part of monitoring and evaluation and transparency. Yes, whistleblowers, they will not have internal auditors respond. It will have to be an external auditor to remain objective. Okay? All right. In every organization that handles public funds, there ought to be an internal auditing mechanism to ensure that there is transparency when it comes to how the money is being used in the business. The internal auditing team did their own little thing, and they found out that things were not being done correctly and there was fraud. That is why I said to you that I suspect that the whistleblower came from inside. And that internal audit was presented to the then chief executive officer, the puss with the butter in her mouth. Let me show you a picture again. The puss with the butter in her mouth. This one here, this brother here with the butter in her mouth had a whole opportunity to fix this before it get to whistleblower stage. See, puss with butter in her mouth there. See him there. Mr. Fitzgerald, him. See him there. That puss with the butter. Get the report from this man. Yes? So, sir, things not right. Sir, we have see some contract here where we never get authorized for. Sir, we have see some importation coming in here that don't belong to the hospital. And it are used with tax exemption status to take it in the country. Sir, something not right. And this post where I name off the whole of the taxpayer their money. This brother here did nothing. He did nothing. Mr. Post did nothing. Jesus have mercy. No, sir.
What I
I've
wanted
never in
to
my life.
ask.
All right, Frank. All right.
That is a little bit unsettling for me. Just
Hold on, Member Frank. Let her allow her, and then
yes.
after her.
Thank you, Chairman. Very unsettling, some of the things that I am actually hearing, and just from the internal auditor now, as to what he said, that yes, these things were flagged, but nothing was done. The composition of the board, I think it's, as you said, it's 8 to 10 ratio. And what is concerning for me is that 68% of the budget comes from taxpayers. And it's almost as if there is nothing that, can be done, because the input from the minister, as far as the appointees for the board members, that there is really not a good structure that's in place. And for me, what I would want to find out is really, going forward, I'm really still not hearing about going forward what will be the different structure that will be put in place to make sure that
You hear the people them said them a train. Miss Cuthbert Flynn, hear me jump she, cause me can't bother with the repetition.
Some direction in relation to that.
I mean, he can identify, make recommendations, but he can't implement.
No, I'm saying you're right. So if you identify a problem, there's something wrong with a particular transaction, and we're identifying as the internal auditor, then that transaction should not have gone through, so that we are here today looking at.
Here this. No, and a site work. You see what him know? This brother here know. This brother here come now for try pin it pan. The one honest man where they them a try pin it pan. The person who did the auditing, saying that, well, if you back up on a transaction and you know say the transaction then alright, and you go make it clear so the transaction alright, how come the transaction still a go on? That's not the auditor's job. And me don't know what kind of fool comment is that. It's not the auditor's job to do that. The auditor's job is not before, is after. The internal auditing is going to happen after a period of time. They're not risk assessors, sir, and a site work. They do auditing after a period. And they look backwards through the books, through the communications, through the transactions, and go, okay, have we done things transparently? Is everything balancing? Everything makes sense? Was it all above board? And then when they find the situation, now them go and then present it to the people that were in charge and say, listen, we have found discrepancies here, there, and everywhere. What are you going to do about it? The CEO then supposed to sit down with the respective heads of the departments and go, listen, the auditors brought this to me and I've seen this problem, that problem, and X problem. What we are going to do to make sure so them problem and repeat? Then them supposed to know, staff is say, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and all of that's supposed to be in a report, but no report now make, and nobody now talk to nobody, and the CEO, which was the post with the button and out, gone about in business and did nothing about it. What is the auditor supposed to do? Blow the whistle, yes. That's why I say I them do it. Yes.
No, the internal auditor who sits in the ministry.
I swear some of them people need to retire.
Them, but my understanding is their processes tend to be post fact or after the fact. So he wouldn't be able to.
That's not my understanding. That's
all right, I'll invite the CEO to
You
answer.
are correct, Chair. That's exactly how it works. It is after that the auditors would come in to do their work, to review what has taken place over a past time period.
There you go.
Also, what you'll find,
There you go.
some reason why some of these transactions would not have been picked up by the internal audit department is that they took place outside of the university.
Exactly.
So the use of like the tax status, the tax-free status, was not processed internally.
Well, you're opening up a can of worms that you can't really close. You're going to have to elaborate on that.
That's exactly the point.
I was going to waiting to go issue by issue. So
are you guys hearing? Are you guys hearing this?
When we get
let
to
me
that
pause. Let me pause and let me explain to you exactly what he meant by that. Okay, let me explain to you. So remember, the external auditor, the Auditor General, had said that there is no way that even the monthly or the quarterly reports would have accounted for this part of the issue. Remember, she said that. She said, even if you reported monthly, quarterly, whatever, you still would not have known what was going on. Now we get into the crunch of the matter. The man is making it clear that the transactions took place outside of Uwhi Hospital, and we would have had no way of accounting for such activities. Why? Because it was their tax exemption status that was being used by random private organizations. Not random, because somebody know about it. Private organizations that were importing goods into the country. Paying no tax. Paying no tax. No importing duties. Nothing. Telling the customs officer, oh yes, man, this is for Uwhi Hospital, when it wasn't for no Uwhi Hospital. How much bed, how much stove, how much building material, how much steel, how much things, how much machine. Yes, man, it's for the university hospital, it's for the university hospital. Hey, $26,000 worth of tax not paid. That is not all that happened, though. More things happening.
Invite you to elaborate on that. But Mr. Internal Auditor, if you could just explain for the benefit of the committee how you operate, how your department operates in relation to,
Yeah, we don't want to hear that. We want going to the causes now.
But that is determined by the entity itself.
Yes.
It's not uniform across the board.
No, because some people might say we live within the $60 million, and some entities might say, no, I want to get involved early, I want to probe early, I don't want any...
Oh, this is important. Listen to this. So this is about, the authorization of the contracts and why certain amounts are allowed to go through.
$3 million.
All right, listen.
So anything above that goes to the procurement committee.
Listen.
Sorry, just for clarity, make the distinction between procurement committee of an entity versus the government's public procurement.
Procurement, exactly.
Right. So internally, in an entity, you have a procurement committee which has the mandate of reviewing and making recommendations to the head of entity as to whether or not it should or should not approve a procurement contract. Separately, you have the Public Procurement Commission, which approves contract above $60 million. All right? So you have the procurement committee inside the entity.
That's right. That's
what
inside.
They review is dependent on what the head of entity says they should review. The general practice is that they review anything above the single source competition threshold, which is $3 million for goods and services and $5 million for works contracts.
All right, so you hear that. So within the hospital itself, $3 million, between $3 and $5 million, as long as it's less than that, you can get that approved easily within the organization by whichever management. Okay, anything above that, they have their internal procurement team, right? So the procurement team within the organization would look through anything up to the value of 60 million. After that, that 60 million and above, after it goes over 60 million, it goes to the procurement commission. That's the government. I already showed you the documents, right? That's a different thing.
Now, the head of entity can approve a contract up to $60 million. If the contract amount is above $60 million but less than $100 million, then that contract needs the approval as well of the Public Procurement Commission.
Yes.
Above $100 million, the contract would need the approval of the head of entity, the Public Procurement Commission, and the Cabinet of Jamaica.
Right.
So
I already showed you that.
The relevant limits.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Pierce.
If I might, just to further that question, some entities, depending on the risk factor, would set thresholds between the $5 million and the $60 million. For example, where I worked before, anything over $30 million must go to the board for approval. And at the end of every month.
But that is determined by the entity itself.
Yes.
It's not uniform across the board.
No, because some people might.
No, that is their decision, but it's not something you have to do, right? I'm jumping this.
Of the University Hospital Board.
Jumping.
Activities for each quarter, and these will also be sent to the CEO for action. Thank you, member.
So you're saying that in that particular instance where the CEO, there's an issue with contract approval by the CEO, that such a report was also sent to the CEO for action?
Not specifically speaking to that particular issues. I'm saying, member, that were similar issues.
But that is what you're saying would happen when you have a report about an irregularity. It goes to the CEO and the chairman of the audit committee of the board.
Yes, member.
For action to be taken.
Yes, member.
Member Morrison.
Hey! Woo! Shishim! I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Do you understand what she's saying to you people? She's saying to you that if the auditor has found that a contract has not been signed off by the Prime Minister, sorry, Andrew, you're deep on my mind, by the CEO, and them notice say it don't get authority, meaning that the CEO alone sign it off and say it's all right, but the board don't know nothing about it. So when the board don't know anything about it now, listen now, the board knows nothing about it. So what does the board, the auditor do? The auditor takes the complaint to the CEO. The same CEO, the post with the butter in their mouth, the same CEO that actually signed the contract, gave the thumbs up, and never told the board about it at all. Are you listening? That means say, you see one thief in a going in the business, and you carry the report about the thief into the thief. And you expect that the thief I'm going to do something about the thieving. Backside, I never hear this from a barn. What's the office? You see how she looked to the side like she said, Jesus, Lord Father, the world is watching. Lord God, did me say, I have never seen such madness in my life. How you fi take the thief, you catch the thief with the in the butter. Above in you catch a thief, so you find the report, you write the report, and you take that report and you carry it right back go get the thief. I said, thief! You're poisoning the butter, you know. What are we going to do about this? Are you expect, say, the CEO are going to... Carry on, carry on. I've never
Thank you,
in my
Chair.
life. Carry on.
Sometimes the public, you know, they are watching the PAC and sometimes they need to follow closely, and I'm going to ensure that they follow. We're looking at audit findings here. And just let me highlight a few, and this is for the interest of those watching. Procurement documentation not provided for 51 of 11 contracts. Of 111 contracts.
51.
Contracts approved by CEO without documented evidence of evaluation or procurement committee review.
Jesus.
Procurement processes conducted after delivery of goods and services.
Hey.
Retrospective bidding used to support completed works. Contract splitting used.
Minute gonna understand what that mean. Do you guys understand what that means? Retrospective bidding. Procurement being done after jobs, works, and services have been delivered. Let me explain. So, say you hire your brethren and say to your brethren, say, yo, Frenny, why you bill a addition for my house? Right? All right. But you don't own the house, you know. You have somebody else who own the house. You're supposed to go to that person and say, I hired somebody. This is their quotation to do the job. This is how long the job is going to take. And this is how much money it's going to take to do the job. All right? Okay. But instead, you not tell the person who own the house nothing. That's at the board. You not say nothing to them. You just say, Freddie, here what? Do that. How long it gonna take? You know what? Boy, I'm not too sure in a see. Could have be 1 month, could have be 2, could have be 3. You understand? You say, let's run the job, man. When it done, it done. And when you done do it now, you just tell me how much and how it go. And then now, at the end, you do the job, but you know, say, you want 20 brick, and you just say you want 100, and you use 20 to the job, and you tell the 80, and you say, go over there, so go build 4 more place with them brick there. And you say you want 2 pipe and 2 sink, and you just say you need 10, I just send the rest of them over there, so I just use 2. You understand? And then you go to the man and you say, all right, boss, the job done, you know. How much it costs? Because, you know, so you get authority for just do what you need to do. And then him just say, all right, it costs 10 mil. All right. Write up the paperwork and tell me, say it costs this and it lasts this amount of time. And backdate it to when the job starts. And me sign it off. That's retrospective procurement. It gives you room to inflate your prices, to do whatever the hell you want to do with taxpayers' money, knowing that you and the boss are pals and he's going to sign it off anyway because them budget fat, billions. Contracts, 51 or 51 much out of 111 for which there was no authority from the board, all passed by the CEO. The posts when me show you. Paperwork being done after them done yam out taxpayer money already. I wonder if we realize the level of criminality that is involved here. And I'm not hearing Sir Holness, come here now, man. You're not lock him up. Are you not gonna lock this man up? Me see you lock up people for fireless. Me see you lock up people for telling about your your mother. You understand? You don't think so this deserve a lock up? Wait.
to fall below procurement threshold. Direct contracting used for approximately 64%.
The splitting of the procurement, let me explain that now. Remember, we talked about the threshold that anything less than 60 million, yeah, we don't need to go, yeah, okay. So if I know, say, I want to get more than 60 mil out of you, I splice it and said this job is going to cost 30 mil. This job is going to cost 10. This job is going to cost 20. Same person that going to deliver the job, you know. Same time frame, you know. But by chopping it up into smaller bits, I avoid going through to the procurement commission. I avoid the government paying attention to the money that I thief in. Wanna get chopped. Let me tell you something. Jamaican people wanna get chopped. Wanna get chopped big time.
Of procurement activities. So this strikes me, Chairman, as a cocktail of inefficiency, and which, of course, I'm of the view, created the facility for all of these breaches. Now, let us look at management's response, which I am of the view...
Just procedurally,
right.
Before you came in, what I intended to do was go through them one by one.
Hold on, Chair.
Yeah.
Allow me. I'm getting there. I'm of the view that the management's response in this instance is somewhat in parts incongruous. 28 missing files located, efforts ongoing to locate missing files, instructions issued to discontinue identified practices, and so on. What were the consequent actions pertinent to these breaches identified in the audit findings, and who is complicit and or culpable, and what is the head of procurement saying in these matters? Thank you.
Well, I'll invite the acting CEO to comment, and as he said, he's new to the position. But the team is here that can support him.
No, sir. I know say 119 I go do this, you know.
Thank you, member.
119 have to do a video about this.
In remarks, I'm not sure if you were here, that there is a committee formed by the board, the Catherine Phipps Committee, that is investigating the matters related to the Auditor General's report and to identify staff members who may be liable or culpable in the instances, and then make recommendation as to the actions that should be taken. There is also the police and customs who are involved, along with the Integrity Commission, who are doing their investigation to identify where there may be anything related to any illegal practice and to make take the necessary action. So we are awaiting those response. As I explained, Mr. Chair, we have received one report only from customs to date, and they have said they will be coming to us with the others. And we received that just on Friday of last week. Sorry.
So I wonder how Daryl Vaz feels about this. Because quite a significant amount of the fraud took place via customs and immigration. So I want to know how it is, him and customs and immigration, customs and excise. I want to know how he feels, knowing that somebody was bringing things into the country, avoiding paying taxes on his watch. So, I want to say that now.
There are things being put in place, and we have changed a lot of the procedures. We have done some training for the staff, a serious amount of training during that time, and we have issued letters to persons to cease and desist from certain activities.
Cease and desist letter.
Members, we have spent
watch, me like that. Move her face. She looks so upset.
No, man, I asked many pertinent questions that were on your mind, right? And I...
them and them flirting.
Strategic plan and the operational review, because we spoke about not seeing an approved strategic plan.
Yes.
So an entity was in transformational review as well?
Yes.
No,
Alicia,
no, one was for operation and turnaround, one was for strategic and transformational. and produce a
Listen to this, guys.
transformation
This is
plan.
about the
But that's not a
consultants.
strategic plan. So we did not see the strategic plan. Yeah, my colleague is letting me know that the intent was to use the strategic review and transformational plan to inform the strategic plan, but we didn't see an approved strategic plan. No, for the operations review.
Sorry, just for clarity here, you used the word approved a couple of times.
Listen
Is
to
it that
this.
it existed but was not approved by the entity?
It was not approved by the board.
It wasn't approved by the board,
No.
but it existed.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So that consultant
Okay,
did
so
their
there was a
work.
draft report.
The draft
Yes, they
provided
did their
submitted
work,
to the board, but the board did not accept it and did not
but the
approve
board
it.
didn't pass it.
Okay, okay.
That one not so bad.
But the second
Now
one,
listen.
The operations review
And the turnaround.
development of the turnaround plan. We have not seen the turnaround plan. We haven't seen that plan. But last week, we received a draft operations review document.
That is correct, along with the signed contract between us and the person doing that.
Okay, so we were of the impression that the consultant failed to provide the document at the time that it should have been provided, but they submitted
Last
it
week.
in February 2026.
So
That's my understanding.
let me
Listen
so I
this.
can be clear. There were two consultants engaged.
That's right.
One provided a plan which went to the board but was not
But it
approved
wasn't
by
approved.
the board.
Strategic plan.
Yes.
The wasn't approved by the board, but they
Yes.
delivered something. But
Yes.
the board didn't sign off on it. The
Fine.
second one, you said the document itself was just provided 2 months
Last
ago,
week.
February, last month.
Last week.
And my
Last-
understanding is that it was submitted, the draft, what we saw, a draft document that,
February.
right. And let's just put this into context because this contract was 2024 and
Oh,
the
yeah.
document should have, because as you know, a turnaround means that you need to address something. So it should have been produced 4 months after. We received it last.
Yeah, so the question is on the second one,
Jesus is Lord. Wanna hear that? Wanna hear? Did you hear? Hey! A consultant was hired. So 2 consultants was hired. We're not questioning the first one. The first one did their work. They presented their strategic plan. It was not approved. That's fine. Okay. But the second consultant was hired in 2024. 2024. They were supposed to do a turnaround plan. Turnaround meaning that you want something to quickly turn your business wrong and turn it better. Yes, they were supposed to do a turnaround plan. And that plan was supposed to have been done in 4 months. They received the draft a week before this. How would they rust me a year, yes? 2024, 2025, 2026. 3 year. 3. Fair 4-month contract. And I bet you all that time them I get money. Jesus is. Hey!
was the consultant fully paid?
No. He
No.
has been paid 50%. So the first one, the total amount was approximately 90,000 US. On the
Right.
second one, the total amount is approximately 180,000 US.
Right.
So the first one was paid 90, and the second one was paid another 90, which comes up to about the 186,000. Now, so the second one has received half the payment.
Well, not quite half, because if it's 180, then it should be 96, should it? Right? So they got a little bit more than that, which suggests that it's probably a little bit more than 180. So they just ran off with 90 odd thousand. They did the work, dragged their ass, and presented to you last week because there is now an investigation of fraud that began in January. And the CEO, the post with the button I'm out, pinch the consultant who clearly is them brethren and say, yo, you better produce this, because as you can see, they're looking into us. Yeah.
up to the time when I came, we had not received any report, but he provided us with an interim draft report.
Hold on, Mr. Hosing.
Mhm.
When was he contracted, or she?
In 2024.
So it took 2 years and the Auditor General report.
End of 2024, sorry.
2 years and the Auditor General report to get a draft after him get 50% of money?
50%.
Yeah, but it's 50% of his money.
Yes.
For the entity to get something?
That is correct, Chair.
Really a joke.
Oh boy. All right. I just wanted to be clear, because that is crazy. That you could pay 50% almost 2 years, and only because the Auditor General goes in that he produces that report after
That's
getting
right.
50% of money?
That's right.
Madness that.
That's right.
Madness that.
I mean, it,
Yeah.
it points again to a broader systemic problem. Member Morrison would have raised the
I'm not going to go much further into this. I'm sure you get the point. When I tell you that it's so strange to me how we sit back and we allow all kinds of mess to take place in our country, and we don't do anything about it, and you all come out every single time, you all come out ringing bell, and wear on an orange top, and go out with a self over politician. I'm telling you straight, a politician a business, you don't know. Because look at what they are doing with taxpayers' money. And yet when ordinary people are try bringing some things, either for Melissa or for whatever, you hear say we are splice, we are do all kinds of dodgy things. And look at what is happening in the highest realms of power with taxpayers' money. CEOs signing off on contracts that are spliced to stop them meeting thresholds for there to be any perusal over their legitimacy and transparency. Keeping them under the threshold so that them can do what they want to do. Documents not being approved by the board. And there's more, you can go back go watch it. It is embarrassing. Let's talk about the fact that they also mentioned that there were contracts that they could not find. Contracts them couldn't find. Them still in the process of trying to find. Reason them give. The contracts were being stored in a room and it flooded out. People, that the flooding happened 3 times in the same room. Three times in the same damn room. These are the contracts that they're supposed to upload onto the system. Because there is a system, For the big contracts, they're supposed to upload it on one system. And what is system name again? Me tell you. It's system. The tendering system. GoJep. They're supposed to put it up on GoJep. Once it hits a certain threshold, it is definitely required. Now the current CEO is saying that every single contract will go up on it, whether it required or not. That way, them back covered. But that's going forward. But all the contracts that happened when they posted a robot in their mouths, they can't find more than half I contract them. They contract them, wash away, disappear. Them not just wet up, They gone. They gone. Right? Them store it in a one room. The people them ask. So how you store them? Then they store just dash them on the ground there in a box. What was the situation? Were they in filing cabinets? No. They've only just brought filing cabinets in. They were in no filing cabinet. They were in no wallet. Them just down there for rat yam them. And then flooding happened. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 floodings. one of which was actually reported in an audit before, reported to the minister. No, reported to the head of the head of procurement. If you listen to him when him talk, can me tell him to mark him face from the early part. But say when you listen to him when he talk, he sound like me never know how that man they get that job there. He can't even talk one sentence in a proper English. But the man sound confused. The man said, "Yes, I had gone away, and when I came back, I was away, and when I came back, I heard that they were damaged in a flood." So the man asked him, "So hold on, all of those papers is manual filing and doing in this day and age. You're trying to tell me, say, you don't put up nothing, scan nothing. You don't have nothing in no cloud up in the sky there. You don't have nothing like that. Everything is, well, yes, all of the it is a manual system, but only the ones that are supposed to be uploaded on the GoJep. Only the ones that were supposed to be uploaded on the GoJep are held electronically. We don't put everything on there. So all of the one that we never put on there was splice up, splice up, splice up, splice up. So it looked like a 10 or 15 different contract when I really one contract for one somebody pocket get fat. More than half of them wash away, my loves. Wash away. Gone. So them can't even find where these contracts took place, who was the person who signed them off. Why? Because Mr. Puss, with the butter in his mouth, I try to reduce in potential jail sentence. But can you see if Sir Andrew Holness don't put this man in a prison? I saw you're gonna say him apartheid. I may not take that back. Because there is no way the Prime Minister can be aware of this. And him not ensure so them man go jail. I have never heard anything so embarrassing in all my life. 3 times. 3 times. In our room, he flood out. Yes, Mr. Brown. The contract them up on the ground. On the ground. Me never left them spread out. Just paper was spread out. Or if they in some cardboard box or what. But let me just ask you this. As a sensible human being, your room flood out 1 time. You go sit down and make it happen to you again? Okay, it happened 2 times. You go sit down and make it happen a 3rd time? You know, put things in place to mitigate the circumstances. I change the damn flipping room. I put your things in them in a so watertight containers. Do something so that next time you don't end up losing your contracts. The cover-up process has already begun. And I genuinely hope heads will roll. They need to go work out, so they need to work back the taxpayer their money. Because them now can get them back in. Police involved. Them said that them investigate. All of the relevant investigatory bodies are rolling out to come do the do. The post, him not in a post no more. The head of finance and accounting not in post anymore. Who people in the auditing team chop off and gone. Them post the affiliates. The one honest man that produced the audit, the internal audit to the CEO at the time and said, listen, these things are happening and it's not right. Him still in a post. That's what I'm telling us say. Him are the whistleblower. Them just now can't talk it. I genuinely believe it's him. Because imagine you are report and a report and a report and you see the CEO not doing anything. And if anything, that you realize that the CEO is the person that is authorizing all the theft. So you know you're not going to get anywhere. You have to step outside. You have to step outside. And while investigations are going on, of course, the people who are the high suspects have to step down. They have to come out. That's why you have an interim CEO, that poor man. That poor man. The man in a one piece of predicament. Me say when me look on him face, the man look stressed. And him one me sorry for. Right? As for the internal auditor, okay, he may be doing a good job or whatever, but him should have blown the whistle. Long time. Long time. Should not have gone on for so long, stretched on for so long, and that's why I kind of include him in the costing a bit. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, what are you going to do about this? How many other businesses and institutions, how many others are being operated like this with taxpayers' money? With the head not communicating with the tail? With there being no communication between those that are in charge of an entity, the governing department that's supposed to ensure there's accountability. No communication. So in between that is taxpayers' money that's just going through to these entities and being used to do whatever they want to do with it. Graduates, I'm going to leave it there. But all I know is Jamaica, we have reason for ball. And there is no way that migrants like myself are going to want to go back. Not with all of this happening. Not with them kind of corruption you're going. Because if all of that money is being used to fatten friends' pockets, no wonder the health is like in shambles. No wonder. No wonder instead of you having 5 or 6 MRI machines, you only have 4 or 3. Because the money for the rest are going to some brethren pockets under the guise of contracts and procurements. It's a shame. Extremely embarrassing. It's a disgrace. Anyway, if you've made it this far, please do not forget to hit the like and the share button before you exit class. I hope you have learned something in this episode of Hard Talk. Ever so often we step away from the bangarang and the mix-up, but there's always bangarang and mix-up when it comes to politics. Anyway, but we'll step up from the other stuff because this is important. This is really about us as Jamaican people and who we put our faith in. If you have property back home, if you are doing businesses back home, this is your taxpayers' money. This is your taxpayers' money that's being misused. And you should care about it. You should know that there have been millions stolen and your millions are a part of it. Your money is a part of it. And we should have remained silent on matters like this. Anyway, big up your nice, clean self. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. You love this type of life. Yeah, man. Ever so often, that's how we give it to them. It may not be the one that is full house, but these are the ones that I love as well. This one is my natural calling. Me enjoy them something. Yeah. All right. Big up your nice, clean self, graduates. This is your girl, Head Teacher K. And I'm out. Bye.